Picture this, a powerful African kingdom, huge palace walls, detailed metal plaques shining in the sun, royal ceremonies, warriors, kings in coral beads. Now picture that same city, on fire. This is the real story of the Benin bronzes, not just beautiful art, but stolen history, a kingdom most people never learned about. Let's start here. The Kingdom of Benin, in present-day southern Nigeria, was one of the most advanced societies in West Africa. This was not a small village kingdom. It had structure, government, skilled artists, international trade. The ruler was called the Oba, and inside the royal palace, thousands of bronze plaques lined the walls. These plaques told stories, coronations, battles, court life, diplomats, even early contact with Portuguese traders in the 1400s. They were like metal history books, and the technique used to make them, extremely advanced. It's called lost wax casting. Even European visitors at the time were impressed. Benin was organized, wealthy, powerful, and that's important, because power attracts attention. The British want control. Fast forward to the late 1800s. The British Empire is expanding fast across Africa. They want resources, trade routes, political control. Palm oil was big business back then. So was ivory. But Benin wasn't easy to control. Tensions grew between British officials and the Oba. In 1897, a British delegation tried to enter Benin City during a sacred festival. They were warned not to come. They came anyway. The delegation was attacked. Most of them were killed. In Britain, the reaction was immediate. Anger, headlines, calls for revenge. And revenge came quickly. The punitive expedition. The British sent nearly 1,200 soldiers, armed with modern weapons, machine guns, heavy firepower. They called it a punitive expedition. It was more than that. It was an invasion. Benin City was attacked. Buildings were burned. People were killed. The royal palace was destroyed. And then something else happened. The looting began. Soldiers took bronze plaques off the walls. They packed up ivory tusks. They collected sacred objects. Over 4,000 artworks were taken. Not randomly, systematically. The items were shipped to Europe, then auctioned. The money, it helped pay for the invasion. Yes, the kingdom was looted and then charged for it. Europe's shock. When the bronzes arrived in Europe, scholars were stunned. The detail was incredible. The design, the craftsmanship. But instead of accepting that African artists made them, some Europeans refused to believe it. They suggested the art must have come from a lost civilization or outside influence. Anything but African genius. Why? Because colonial ideology said Africa was primitive, and these artworks proved the opposite. The Benin bronzes challenged that story. They showed advanced metalworking, strong political systems, cultural sophistication. They exposed the lie. Where are they now? Today, most of the Benin bronzes are still outside Nigeria. The largest collection is in the British Museum in London. Others are in Germany, the United States, and across Europe. For decades, Nigeria has asked for them back. The argument is simple. They were taken during a violent invasion. They weren't gifts. They weren't traded. They were looted. Recently, some progress has been made. Germany agreed to return many bronzes. Some American museums have also sent pieces back, but the British Museum still holds a large number. They say current laws prevent them from returning items, so the debate continues. Who owns history? The museum that displays it, or the people it was taken from? Why this is bigger than art? This isn't just about objects, it's about identity. The bronzes weren't decorations, they were records, symbols of authority, spiritual items. When they were taken, something deeper was taken too. Cultural memory. Colonialism didn't just take land, it took stories, and when you control the story, you control how history is told. The Benin bronzes tell a different version of Africa. Power, that matters. A possible return. Nigeria is building new museums to house returned bronzes. There's hope that more institutions will send them back, but restitution is complicated. Some argue museums protect and preserve global history. Others argue stolen property is stolen property. There's no easy answer, but there is a clear truth. The bronzes were taken during violence, and that history can't be ignored. Imagine walking into a museum in Benin City, seeing the plaques back on display, not as trophies of empire, but as living history. Art created by ancestors, returned to their descendants. The Benin bronzes are beautiful, but they are also witnesses. They witnessed power, they witnessed invasion, they witnessed theft. Now they witness a global conversation about justice. The question is simple: where it was taken, or should it finally come home? If you want more untold stories like this, subscribe. Because history isn't just about the past, it shapes who controls the future.